Hi folks, Sandy Hovatter here of Data Designs Publishing. We are continuing our series on the capabilities of Adobe Acrobat Pro, and today we're going to be talking about adding interactive objects, and I think you'll find some of them to be quite helpful. I do want to remind you that there are two versions of Adobe Acrobat. There's the Reader, which is available as a free download from adobe.com, and then there is the version that we're talking about, Acrobat Pro. This is purchased from Adobe.com. It is a part of Creative Cloud. If you've subscribed to Creative Cloud, you have access to Acrobat Pro, and it has editing capabilities in it that far surpass anything available in Acrobat Reader. Well, with that, let's go to Acrobat. I have up here a PDF of a book that I've written, and I'm going to pretend that I want to make some changes to it. What we're looking at today is the interactive panel, or the interactive objects panel. You can open it up here and you see that we add buttons, you can add video, you can add sound, SWF files, and 3D files. You can imagine how that really enhances a PDF. So let's get started by adding a button. Adding a button is very easy. You simply come over and you click on Add a Button. You can see that I've added it up here to my toolbar at the top because I do it so frequently. But if it's not there, you can just click on it and I can then draw anywhere on the screen. I'm going to add a note to the bottom of my page, and I am actually drawing the size that I want it to be. You can give your button a name. That's important if you're adding lots of buttons to your document. If you just have one or two, you can just leave it at the default. And then I clicked on All Properties. Let's go through the properties options. Here on Button Properties, again, I can give it a name. I can say whether the field is visible or not, and I can orient it differently. The appearance. I have, by default, set my appearance to have a brown outline and a no-fill color. That's not what I want to do here. I'm going to go with a border of blue and a fill color of, let's make it this gold. The line thickness of medium. I'm happy with that, but I think the text size is too large, so I'm going to make it 10 point, and I'm going to make it Helvetica Bold Oblique. I can also change the font color or the text color if I wanted to. I'm going to leave it there. I can then position the button. Quite frankly, I have never used this screen because once the button is created, you can see that I can move it anywhere I want and I can size it however I want. So let me put this back. We'll make it as big as that headline text, but I want it down here, a little bit too wide. So I'm going to put it there. Here's the important, one of the two most important screens. On the options screen, you have the choice of creating a label only, which is really the text that you're going to enter. Let me unclick here. You can see where it says label. Whatever text I type in here is the label for this button. So label only means that the only thing that will show in this rectangle that I've drawn is whatever I type in the label box. Alternately, you can create a graphic. It might look like a button. It might look it might have some peculiar design. It might be a logo or something like that. And you can click icon only. Icon means an image that I am going to place in the file. If we were to do that, we would have to choose the icon, and we click here. I don't have an icon, and you can browse to it. I don't have an icon that I've created, so I'm going to cancel that. And then there are various combinations of icon and labels. I'm not using an icon, although they are very powerful. I'm going to just create a label, and my label is going to be Preview. I'm going to pretend that this is just a small copy of the book. So this is a preview. Oops. Click here, to purchase your copy. So this might be a PDF that I'm sending out to someone to give them a preview of the book that I've written, and then they can click right in this PDF and it will take them to a buy page where they can purchase a copy. I didn't talk about the behavior element on the screen here. That's saying, what do you want the button to do when it is pressed? It can have no behavior, which means there's no visible, there's nothing that happens that you can see when someone pushes the button. I usually like invert, which means the color is going to be inverted for a second, and so you get a visual clue that I clicked on it and something happened. There are two other options, and we'll look at those in a minute. Let's go to the next screen now. Action. What do you want to do when I click on the button? First of all, what is the trigger? Is it when you click down on your mouse or when you let go of the mouse button? Is it when you make some kind of an entry? Or there are some other options there that you can play with. I want it to be when I let go of the mouse button. So I'm going to click the mouse, and when I lift my finger from it, that's when I want the action to happen. And I can do many different things. Let me go to the top of the list. You can see that we could go to a specific page of the document. We can open a file or a web link. We can play some sounds. We can do some other things. We're going to open a web link, and I have to add that action. It's asking me for the link. Let me grab it. Here's a link that will take the user to a page on our website that talks about the book, and from there they can buy it. So I'm going to close that. Right now I am in the add button mode, and to test the button I have to go to the hand mode, and I'm going to come down here. You can see that the hand changes from a hand to a pointing finger when I'm over something that over a link or a button that has some action to it. When I click on it, it opens that page of our website that talks about our book. You know what? I don't like that. I think that's too clumsy. I don't want to take them to some place where they can then click on something and then buy it. Instead, I want them to just be able to buy it. So I want to change that. Well, I can't select it because my hand keeps changing to a little pointing finger, which means if I click, it's going to take that action. In order to edit an existing button, I need to come over here to the interactive objects and click on the select object. Then I can click on this, and if I right click, I can then go to properties. You can also double click and it brings up the properties box. You can see it has it opening the web link. This is the link we put in. If I click on the open a web link in the actions area, I can say that I want to edit it. And now I can come back to my cheat sheet that tells me what the URL is that I want to put into the Acrobat file, and I can copy and paste it, say OK. Now I have a shorter link in there. While we're here, let's change the behavior from invert to outline. And if you've been watching closely, you'll be able to see a difference. You need to come back over here to the hand. When I click on it, notice it changed. Instead of inverting that button, it just creates an outline around the button. And here it takes us to essentially the buy page for the book. Now what's nice about buttons is that they have the ability to be copied to every page without individually copying it. If this was just a link, I couldn't do that. We talked about links in a previous video where you can add a link, and the process is very similar, and I could open a web page, but there is no ability to duplicate that from page to page. Once it's on your page, the only ability to do that it would be to copy and paste it. If we come back to our interactive objects, go to Select Object so that I can come here and select that button. I can right-click and notice that one of the options is Duplicate Across Pages. I can click on that. I can duplicate it across all pages or just a selection of the pages. I'm going to duplicate it across all pages. And you can see that as I now flip through pages, that button here, let me go to the hand so you can see it as the button. That button now appears at the bottom of every page, and no matter what page I click the button from, it's going to take me to the URL that I put into the dialog box when I told it I wanted it to open a URL. Notice that each one could be edited individually, so you can change it in whatever way you want, but you are only changing at this point the one that is selected. Also, once you have put the button on every page, and if you decided you didn't want that, you would have to delete it from every page individually. There's no command that says delete all of these. I want to just point out one other thing. When you've right-clicked on a button, the very last item in the menu that comes up is Use Current Properties as the new defaults. If you are consistently making buttons that have the same, or that you want to have the same characteristics, you can click on that and it will always come up with those defaults. You might remember when I initially said I wanted to add a button, I clicked and I went to All Properties, and I said the appearance was a brown outline with no fill. That's the default I use. We use buttons to put draft numbers on documents, and we want those to stand out a bit, so they have reddish brown outline, no fill, 12-point type, Helvetica bold. I'm going to close that, and I don't really want that, so I'm going to delete it. Hit Home to take me to the first page of my document. Again, when I have Select Object, let me just show you or remind you that you can change the size or location of any button that you've created. That's the Add Button feature.